I will probably die. It is, if you set odds on me dying, I'm 41 in bad shape, high cholesterol, on the path to diabetes. I love life, live it good. I don't really care. I'll go when I go. I think there's a much better chance I die before we get a day like yesterday again.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog, the 2025 Masters recap. Jeff, you were at a Passover dinner, so did you get to watch all of it?
Yeah. We didn't miss a second. It's like our own little thing.
It's probably
my
good.
children. I got reports that my children actually ran the Seder. That's how done the. That's essentially what happened to dinner. Is like my children were in charge. An 8-year-old.
Everyone else was in the other room?
Well, like the people that normally lead, right? That lead the table, lead it all, were not there.
You have to remember,
I
I don't know how any of that works, so.
Yeah, I know. You have someone at the head of the table that leads the whole operation, and anyone capable of doing that was in the kitchen.
Watching on a little kitchen TV?
No, listen, I don't mean it like that. Yeah, I guess I say that. You think this is like a kitchen with a huge TV on the wall. With the living room 4 feet beside with another huge TV on the wall. No shortage of TVs in that establishment. But yeah, no, it was just and then I went to seclusion in the West Wing. I was alone. People were where is he? And then I come back in and they're like, do you see that happen? As if I wasn't watching somewhere else. But I didn't want to be around some of these people either. That's the truth of it.
I don't know if it was a great, if you were watching it with a bunch of people, I don't know how that would have went, because I had family coming over the entire day. It was my birthday, so my mom came over, my grandparents came over, they were just coming in and out, and I was trying to focus on what was going on. Fortunately, they got mostly out of there by the time that Bryson and Rory ended up teeing off. But I guess the first thing that I want to go to with this, it was almost like there were CBS producers in Rory's ear being like, look, you're going to win. We're going to guarantee you're going to win, but you have to make this as dramatic as possible for us. Because every time it was a runaway. Because when Bryson put it into the water on 11, it was almost the exact doppelganger of what happened last year when Scotty was just all of a sudden up 4 strokes and that was the end of it. And then Rory's like, no, I'll make this compelling for everyone. I'll actually fall behind and out of the lead here 3 holes from now, and I'll have to come back and win again with some amazing shots. Then I'll blow it again, only to win it again. I can't remember as dramatic of a round ever.
I think it was the most invested, and I said this to you before the morning. This I think, is the most I've cared about a sporting event with no bet or no favorite team. In my life, it felt like one of the biggest sporting days I'd ever experienced. I will probably die. It is, if you set odds on me dying, I'm 41 in bad shape, high cholesterol, on the path to diabetes. I love life, live it good. I don't really care. I'll go when I go. I think there's a much better chance I die before we get a day like yesterday again. Period.
Was it worth the 5 bad Masters in a row for yesterday?
I mean, I guess in hindsight, we got the total package and the chalk or the winner everyone wanted, while having the most dramatic finish that you alluded to, Pat. If you had the script, they think you were lying. There's no way any of this is possible. Real life couldn't even come up with it. It was drama of the highest order, man versus man, man versus himself, man versus nature of the highest magnitude. I literally started crying multiple times. Not even when he missed the putt on 18. Drama of it. Rose hitting his putts, Rory sticking it on 15, oh my god, a shot of a lifetime. Jim Nance calls it to miss the putt and the amount of missed putts, but fuck, he could have won by a touchdown. So maybe CBS was in the ear. Just it felt good. It felt right. It felt exhausting. I like needed a shower after, like I played in a game.
Did you find that more people in your life were reaching out to you about this round than maybe the Tiger round in 2019? But that happened early in the morning. It all kind of happened really quickly, and it was done by the time that the leaders would have teed off today because they had to get everything in, playing in weather, groups of threes, going off both tees, things you just never see at the Masters. This was just perfect weather. And it had every bit of how Rory is supposed to do it. Like you said, he could have won by a touchdown. He most definitely could. It was a lot like that U.S. Open performance when he first won at Congo, and I think he won by 8 over Jason Day. It's just he didn't have the lapses that time around. This time he hit what, like 5 bad shots all week, and they were just the most at the absolute worst time and cost him the most on the leaderboard. Other than that, he was unstoppable.
I mean, and the bounce back, the ability to bounce back, even out of the gate with what happens on 1, then he gets 3 and 4 and the swings early. It's like the early swings are totally forgotten in the totality of the event. The first chapter was fucking insane.
Did you think he was cooked after the double bogey on 1?
No. But I didn't. No, I didn't. Because I was like, as someone who, like, I self-admitted, like, all horses were dead. And other than that Patrick Reed horse, which nibbled, but anyhow, all horses were dead. And I really wanted Rory to win. It's not that I mean, like pretty much most people, I'm not an obsessed Bryson fan, but I really like Bryson. I have absolutely nothing against Bryson. Bryson is great for golf. But I really, really wanted Rory to win. So in my head, I was like, this start is so bad. Maybe by like hole 4, like Bryson gets put in a position where he's now up 2 or something. And quickly in an hour, so the pressure is fully on him and we get a role reversal. I can't believe how fast it happened. Everything though, Pat, I mean, listen, Bryson played great. He's probably destined to win this thing. He has kind of shown his game is like major proof. Maybe outside of Open Championships, but if he conquered one of those or mixed to the end in one of those, it'd be like, yeah, of course, he's freaking Bryson. That being said, everything you did kind of say for a week finally showed its head with Bryson. And people would put me on the tweets telling you how dumb you are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was wrong. Bryson played amazing through 3 days. I do want to see what the breakdown is, and I'll dig into this later on in the week because I don't have the full access to the stats yet. Because I was just big against his around the green game, and he played immaculately around the green. I don't know if he ended up leading because he was a bit worse on Sunday than he was. I mean, his approach play was god awful the entire week, and he was getting away with it because he was making. There was one point of the tournament where I think he made something like, I think it was like 21 of 24 putts inside 15 feet. Like, that's just insanity. Whoa. Every time he hit a bad chip, he made the putt. And then you don't remember the bad chip. But every time he got into the bunker, it was in or to an inch. Like, his bunker play was immaculate all week. He was a little bit worse playing off the grass. So I actually want to see what the around the green splits were for Bryson, because I just don't like him when he has to like play it, like try to run it up and try to play it back down the hill. Although he did a much better job of that this time around. It was the bunker play in the around the green stats that were truly much better than everyone else's, which I mean, I didn't think he would perform that well, but it's great to have him involved in this. But Rory worked as a shield for him, because imagine, just think about this for a second. Bryson kind of blew this Masters, didn't he? Like, that's not a story. Like, Rory came so close to blowing it 85 times, but he ended up winning. So the story is, Rory almost blew it, Rory came back. Rory almost blew it, Rory came back. If Bryson just plays okay on Sunday, he wins.
You're absolutely right. Definitely, he is the drama of essentially the day, shields Bryson from the storyline. You're not wrong. And even in the aftermath, and listen, fairness to Bryson, like he has the equity of having won a major last year. So it's like if someone else did what Bryson did, a Tommy Fleetwood, a Patrick Cantlay, I mean, they suck in their own ways. Like I think it would be like a maybe a bigger thing, but Bryson like is a total free pass. He played out of his skull, and I think most real ones know exactly what you're talking about. As much as like Rory's totality of play felt unsustainable, yet somehow he sustained it despite making the doubles. Going into yesterday, what felt more unsustainable was Bryson's Houdini acts. But hey, like fuck, Quail Hollow, Bryson, I mean, buckle up. Like in play, pretty much feels like he is officially in play everywhere. I know that's not like a hot take or anything, but yeah, it just all, I don't know, man. It was all so tragic and beautiful. And I felt like listen, what do you call it? There's this kid on the internet that does food videos.
The Rizzler.
That
yes,
like,
I'm familiar with him.
I don't know, that people call like a little perm. Little perm. And like when I was like when I was like a freshman in high school, there were like my cousin's older friends called me like little perm because like I swear it was natural, but like the way my hair was, and I felt, and then somebody looked like a fat soccer mom lesbian. And yesterday watching that, you'd have watched me like I was a lesbian on menopause, like just these intermediate like tears just like coming. I didn't even know what was happening. I couldn't contain it. The day was so magical. It was ridiculous. It still doesn't feel real other than like just seeing the pictures of Rory in the green jacket. It looks like a little leprechaun. It looks so cute and awesome. And 11 years later, 12 years later, whatever, we're here. Full circle.
And we get the 11 more years of competitive play plus the 20 more years of Rory. I think that is the most important part of all of this. And it's a shame because I do feel bad for Rose in a really weird way. At least with his second place finish, he's back in the Masters next year. But he doesn't have this lifetime exemption for someone that I think that you would associate with the Masters because he's been so good there and so prevalent for the past 20 years at Augusta that it's going to be weird to see him the years that just Justin Rose is going to be gone from our lives. He had the U.S. Open win, but those 10 years are over. That there's just going to be a part of time where we get to the majors and Justin Rose, one of the better golfers of the past 20 years and someone we've kind of lived with, just isn't going to be around anymore unless he can find a way to sneak one of these out. Conversely, it's important that Rory gets the Masters because now he's in our life forever, and that's always fun to think about.
We get Rory forever. Because you're not wrong, Pat. Justin Rose, what a gentleman. Like, exudes class. And really one of one, as I think Paul like quickly got a cup, maybe in some recent Morikawa debates, the only person to come around from me and being given a nickname or anything is me and Justin Rose, like a couple years ago. Now, maybe it took like those pearly eyes staring me in the face, giving me like a wink and a gun. Like I was mesmerized. I was stopped in my tracks. What a beautiful man. And like nothing but like utter class. And shout out to all our friends. Obviously you hit the big prop of the week with the Justin Rose, but we had a lot of friends, Pat, like with 150-1 Rose outrights. Truly a majestic performance. But in the history of the game now, we really will only celebrate Rose when we go back to Marion. Like that's how it works. If you're a player with Rose's resume and you win the major, we really kind of only talk about you when we go back to the location for which you won the major. I believe it was Marion, the basket.
Yeah, Marion 2013. He beat Phil and someone. I just remember him.
Just remember Phil.
I just remember him chipping with his 3-wood from off the green. That's the main thing. The baskets and the chipping with the 3-wood are the two Justin Rose things I remember from that week.
And he hit like the Ben Hogan shot to behind the green, I think. Nonetheless, but let's rank these players. Like Rose surpasses Louis, right? And then in third place would be Jason Day, like the greatest era players, great Masters players. Not done. Like if Day does what Rose does in 3 years, I don't think anyone is shocked.
No, and Jason Day's younger than that too, isn't he? Jason Day's not that old.
No, but I'm saying like you're not wrong, Pat. But the first time I met Cam Stewart, he like promised me Jason Day would win a Masters. And he couldn't argue with the guy. It might have been like a month after his like debutante T2 or something. Jason Day has always felt right for this place. And again, did this not Masters in some ways? I know it's so easy to say after the fact, but I joked with you already this week that betting this Masters felt like a test, but the answers were like in the word key.
we
Rose,
talked. It was
Reed, Connors, of Rory. Like it kind of all sure there were great surprises in Homa and Sungjae, like other guys whose game have been like lost, who played quite well this week. But the answers to the test, it felt like were on the worksheet.
I would agree, but Henley and Morikawa just kind of no-showed in terms of trying to win, and Rory was the other answer. Like I think I did 37 radio hits last week. Yeah. I mean, Lowry had Lowry made all the bogeys. It's like he was trying to absorb all the bogeys for Rory on Sunday. He was trying to be a team player with his buddy, but most of the radio hits that I did, I was like, look, you can look at this one of two ways. One, you can try to find like the sneaky guy who's going to win, which is what I'm going to try to do. Or if you just have a bunch of money, just be like, look, I'm making 3 bets. Rory, Morikawa, and Henley. They're the guys that fit every single profile of it going in. I had Rory in the one and done, so I'm way ahead of you guys right now. So that's always really nice to have. But I just wasn't going to get there at 7-1. Now I feel stupid for not doing it because obviously he won. But you could also, you could look at it both ways, that he could have won by 8, or he could have lost by like 3 when all was said and done. It was just really strange. If he doesn't pull out, the shot he hit on 15 is probably the best shot I've ever seen him hit. The rope 7-iron, and then he doesn't make the putt. He just makes that putt. It's over.
That's twice he did that, Pat. The shot on 5 from the trees that just apexed, and he shorted the putt. But he had putts 16, 17, 18. He had putts. There's so many putts. You could play the putts. He overcame it all. That's how amazing he played. He was truly unconscious. And I felt like, listen, that shot into 18, putting it in the bunker from 110 out, with how well he's wedged around Pebble and the players, and the wedge game has just been such a like turnaround. It's the reason why this like Rory... Is this like 3.0? Like, what do we even call this, Rory? Right? Like, I guess we're at 3.0. I guess it's a new number once like this happened. But right, that was a struggle of 2.0 was the wedge game, and 3.0 is dialed in those fucking wedges. And then to push that thing so far, I don't even know. The worst shot of the day was 13, but in some ways, maybe it was 18.
I think it was 18. He was 125 yards away, and I know that he's because there's one spot you can't miss on 18, and it's that left bunker with that pin position, because you're absolutely screwed if you end up. You have to play it up the hill, as even we saw with Rose in the playoff. The ball didn't come back. That's kind of the untalked about part of this. That ball should have come back for Justin Rose and ended up where Rory's was.
I saw Vincenzi tweet, and it hit right away, Pat. Rose's playoff putt
was Sergio's.
Was Sergio's putt to beat him. I didn't even think about that till after. Great shout. Great shout there, but just, oh my God. Oh, it was everything. It was everything. Jeez.
I got a question about 13, because I think you, Tim, and I talked about this on the Cut Sweat show. Why doesn't Rory just go for it? Like, if you end up in the water, you make par. Big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that logic behind it. Where if you're going to lay up and then still have water in play for you, it's like not going for it on 15. Like, if your whole premise behind laying up is, well, I can't put it into the water. Maybe like I'm playing for par. If I make a birdie, that's great and everything, but I'm just trying to play for par on what is essentially a very easy hole. If you just go for it and end up and take the drop, I mean, yes, you can still make double bogey, I assume, but you can still make par pretty easily too.
Like, yes and no, because I mean, he was in like position A to hit a chip. We'd seen, if you're watching the coverages or the amen corners, you saw guys were just hitting it above the hole. It would feed in perfectly. Even if you hit it poorly, it's going to be a 12-footer. And he did, Pat. Like, I know
I've hit that shot.
That's what we do. That's what we do. I don't have the control. I don't know what I'm doing. I am just trying. It was so sad.
It did seem like every time that Rory got away from what was working for him, it didn't work out well. When he stopped pulling driver and he wanted to hit a 3-wood, the 3-wood would just leak into the trees. When he tries to lay up, the layup is fine, and then the shot that he needs next is just, he throws him. He's at his best when he's trying to rope 7-irons around trees. It's like, we talked about this coming into the week with Justin Thomas, that Justin Thomas doesn't play well until he is free to play like Justin Thomas. When he feels like he needs to play like Scotty Scheffler, he can't do it. It's not in him.
Yeah.
He just screws it up.
Yeah, Justin Thomas is only great when he needs to be like heat checked, but that's just part of Justin Thomas. I mean, there's so many ways you could spin it. It just, like, from all of it, from Thursday, like the whole fucking way, he was so good. I had a lot of money on him at the US Open. And I was just like, I don't know, I like the guy too much. I don't need to bet him for the Masters. Like, just win. And I think I felt like I had more feels yesterday than I did at the US Open with one of my bigger pre-tournament outrights of my life. I don't even know. I don't even know now. And then, like, I know it's probably not fair, Pat. But, like, it's not crazy to see a world where there's a bit of a monkey off his back now, and he goes to majors all year that, like, just totally work for him, including a homecoming where, like, the pressure is, at least in the moment, it's all fucking gone.
Agreed. Yeah, I think this could definitely reopen up the floodgates for him, and he could go on a bit of a majors run now. I'm not saying like win 4 majors, but pick off another 2 over the next 2 years, maybe win another one this year. Because we've seen, I mean, this is why people liked Rory coming in. When Rory tends to win, he wins in bunches, and that's what he's doing.
And I mean, that's something we've seen from a lot of high-end players over the years, where I feel like in a past time, it was like they treated majors almost like mini Olympics. Like everything they do is to peak in that moment. But now it's like, no, we need to be peaking it before that moment. Seems to be how these guys see it, because the proof is in the pudding. I'll like everyone. Patrick Reed, if not for 13, maybe is in that playoff.
And then he also jars it on 17.
Yeah,
too. That makes up for the 3-putt.
Yeah, of course. But it's just like you can replay it back. Yeah, that was crazy. The jar hitting Reed top live was lovely at 14-1. I overbet that like I did a lot of things. So all I can say is I didn't lose my shirt. Like I lost money, but I kept my shirt. So that's a win. But that's what the Masters are for. I don't know. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. Like players I'm disappointed in, I don't really care.
Well, we'll get to that here in a second. I do want to remind everyone to smash a like and sub to the channel. We cleared 50,000 subs this weekend on Mayo Media Network, so thank you all for that. I have the list of the giveaway winners, the cash winners, but we're going to be doing that on the Heritage Show, which will be coming out on both video and audio later this evening. We've broke this into 2 shows, so keep that in mind. But I did want to remind everyone, Geoff, tickets went on sale to the PME live show with me, you, Cuss, Cam. Tickets are going pretty quickly as well. The link to buy the tickets is down in the description right now. And it's going to be on June 7th in Toronto, the week of the Canadian Open. And you still have 1 week to get into that giveaway from CoolBet as well, where for every $10 that you bet on the Valero, Masters, or the Heritage, you get a draw. So go to coolbet.com right now. If you live in Canada, outside of Ontario, you are eligible to play in the CoolBet region. And that link is down in the description right now. So the more people people that can go into that, the better trips that we can give away. And yeah, I mean, when you only have Canadians who aren't in Ontario, the pool of people that you have to beat is not actually all that large. So go to CoolBet right now and go bet on the Heritage. We'll have those full picks coming up a little bit later on. And Geoff and I will continue talking Masters right after this. Outdoor golf season is almost here, but is your swing ready? With 126 XGolf locations across 38 states, it's never been easier to dial in your swing year-round. I can speak to this. Go into the simulators all winter long, especially the good ones. You can go to crappy simulators. You don't want to go there. You want to go to XGolf and really prep your game and hit the season firing. XGolf's state-of-the-art simulators let you play full rounds, tee to green with unmatched short game realism. XGolf's Auto Tee system ensures you're always ready to bomb a drive. No delays or automatic two-putts, just real, competitive golf in a lively sports bar environment. Love a little competition? XGolf's handicap leagues and tournaments give every golfer a shot at winning incredible prizes. Upcoming spring tournaments include the Majors, where you could win a beach or mountain vacation, or the Cinco de Mayo Scramble, win a trip to New Belgium Brewery in Asheville, and that is just the start. So visit playxgolf.com to find your nearest XGolf and book your tee time today. Again, trust me on this, you're going to want to go to XGolf, so visit playxgolf.com. Fellas, your wife is already probably pretty familiar with SKIMS. I know my wife was when I got my SKIMS in the mail. They're like, "What, did you get me something from SKIMS?" I'm like, "No, got it for myself," because they're big into men's underwear right now. I've already mentioned that I used to wear boxer shorts, like the bunchy ones, make you look like you have like fupas on the go at all time. You don't want those. We're in 2025. You want some nice stretchy shorts because you're probably an active guy, and even if you aren't, you just want the most comfortable version of underwear that you want, and that is why you need to go to SKIMS and get their underwear right now. It is the most comfortable pair of underwear I've ever worn. As I mentioned before, like I said, it's like you're wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Even though I wear underwear every day, I had not switched to the underwear that was right for me. And now I can wear them to bed, I can wear them working out, I can wear them playing golf, and I can wear them while I'm doing this show and reading this ad to you. That's why I love the stretch briefs. Those are the ones that I like the best. Now, you can get the 3-inch boxer brief if you're a traveler and you go around. Like, those are really good too, but I love the stretch briefs. Those are the ones that I'm wearing 24/7 these days. Not the same pair, mind you. I do wash them, but I bought so many that I just have it in my entire wardrobe right now. Shop SKIMS Men's at skims.com and any SKIMS store. Let them know that I sent you as well. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select my show in the drop-down menu that follows, Pat Mayo Experience, in case you don't know what you're listening to. SKIMS is the official underwear partner of the NBA, WNBA, and USA Basketball. Skims.com. Is your hair thinning? You might want to do something about that. That's why I recommend Nutrafol. Let Nutrafol target the key root causes of your thinning hair and help you grow stronger, healthier strands from within. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. Thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth doesn't cut it. Nutrafol has multiple formulas for men that are tailored to different life stages, such as a plant-based lifestyle, so you can get exactly what you need and customize it to yourself. Building hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription required, automated deliveries, and free shipping keep you on track. Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering my listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code PATMAYO. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code PATMAYO. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code PATMAYO. Okay, Geoff, question. Because they put this up on, I thought that CBS kind of did Rory dirty on the 18th hole, and they did it again in the playoff, but it wasn't putt to win the Masters, it was putt to win the Grand Slam. I was just like, that's a lot. And I think the Grand Slam stuff gets overblown because it really only seemed to make, like, no one ever brings it up with Spieth, ever, do they?
It's the Masters.
That's the thing.
It's the thing. It's the Masters. We die with you. We die with you. We see, like, yes, we'll see other guys. We see Greg Norman grow old and guys who didn't win the Masters who are great, but it's just different. It's just different. And I mean, Phil with the U.S. Open became a thing, so I don't want to diminish it.
No, that's not fair though, because Cust has given Phil the Aaron Hills U.S. Open that he wasn't allowed to play in. He said he most definitely would have. He most definitely would have won that according to Cust, so that counts.
No, it's important though, and I think more should be made of Spieth. And now that Rory's done, I think it will be. I think it will be. Unfortunately, like the course setups and the course selections, like, you know, he's red ink for me, but, you know, I think that'll be a thing, no doubt. But it's I mean, the Masters and Rory, I mean, like, we grew old with, I mean, it's so like corny, Pat, but like we met the kid, we met him, like he's a little guy, like us, like we're only 4 or 5 years older than him, but it just feels like, you know, we spent our adult lives with him. So good for you. It felt personal, even though there's no personal connection at all. At all.
I think it's just you're rooting for a great story, and that this is what it was. And I think that's why all the support ended up on Rory. Like, even hearing from people on the grounds, you know, and not to say that Bryson's unpopular. Bryson is very popular. But on the grounds at Augusta, it was at least you could hear it. The first tee was a little bit different. I do want to talk about how they ended up going to the first tee with Bryson holding back kind of thing. But as the groups went along, the farther you got in, even when they were showing the scoreboards, it was very clearly it was Team Rory versus everyone. Everyone just wanted Rory to win. Whether you're a big Rory fan or not, like, I'm not. I like Rory, but I wouldn't be like, man, I need Rory to win, or like my life's never going to be complete. But I did want this for him. I wanted it for golf. I wanted it for him. And I also wanted that we never have to talk about this again.
I mean, yes. Because as Rory joked, like, what are you guys going to talk about now? It's great. We don't have to talk about it. On like a much minor level, when Xander won Valhalla, it was like, oh, we don't have to talk about this anymore. Right? Like, you know, this is that times 100, but we feel that with all of these guys, I would say. And yeah, man, I want to just take this a different route, because I can't wait. Like, one day I will do an all-out, like, Masters experience. I've earned it. But the thought of, like, just sitting 2 holes away from the drama and waiting for the score to pop up, I am like a neurotic freak. I don't know. I mean, like, you just owe it to yourself to experience it. And I'm not like I could do that on a Thursday, on a Friday, even on a Saturday. But like the end, I don't even know that I am strong enough. Like, I could do it. In some ways, as pathetic as that sounds, sitting on a fucking chair, seeing the boards get put in, I don't know. I'm a freak.
There's something quaint that I like about it.
Oh, of course.
Like, I found myself not going on the app all that much, because once Lowry took himself out of it, I was like, is there a chance? It's funny because Lowry was live to win. Rose showed it. He just had to have the Rose round, and all of a sudden he's there, and not Rose. He just happened to do the exact inverse. Rose made 10 birdies. I think Lowry made 78 bogeys, and that was the end of him. But those guys were far more live than I think that a lot of us gave us credit for. But once my like bets were done, which was immediately, that I mean, I didn't care to see where, like, because sometimes you'll see that the app has guys updated, but I wanted to experience it all in real time, watching through. Like, I even had to go put my kids to bed. I had to pause it for a minute. That's why I was a little bit behind with my Rory in the water joke on 13, because I actually saw it like 2 minutes after it actually happened. But that was fine with me. I think being there, and Rory called it out when he was doing his press conference on the course after, just how much he enjoys no phones being there.
Oh, I mean, yes. I'm not even like, because I want to tracking it on my phone would be the same as them tracking it for me on the board. So I love the no phones aspect. I think that is the most beautiful like you said, quaint. Like it is truly just such a beautiful experience to take the day in, like no phones. That's not the issue. And I agree. There are certain points, although like I know I was still watching my phone, like Ludwig's on 11. Maybe after Rory went in the water, the phone went away. But like seeing Ludwig's par on 11 on the phone, like way before they showed it. But at a certain point, yeah, the phone goes away. I don't need to track this on the phone. I'm not trying to beat like a live line. That was done a couple days ago. So like I don't, yeah, CBS can give it to me. Let's talk CBS. I thought it was immaculate. It is their tour de force usually is how they do this. Got worried with like so many bodies. It's never easy. My one complaint though is I felt multiple times, Pat, the audio ran before the video.
Yes.
And like you heard the crowd. Not I know what a crowd cheer in the distance is, but this felt like it just wasn't spliced right. And you could and because when the putt went in, you heard the exact same cheer, like it was the exact same level cheer and the O on like a miss. And sometimes those were playing before. I saw it early in the week, or yesterday on Saturday, and I felt like it happened early again on Sunday. Now it wasn't happening late. They might have caught it and they fixed it because that's deplorable. But maybe I'm just in my own head. But I swear I caught that a couple times.
Yeah, I thought I noticed it a few times too. You noticed it on the streams a little bit more. I was listening to the Masters radio broadcast through the app as well, and that happened there a few times. The audio was getting a bit janky for some of it. So I don't know if it was just an overall audio problem that they were having on the grounds, but it wasn't just the CBS feed. That seemed like they cleaned theirs up the best. There was no static or anything, but there did seem to be somewhat of a delay where there was static on some of the other feeds. At least from my experience of watching it. Maybe it was my phone that was screwing up. It wasn't anything else, but I did notice that the audio was a bit off on everything, and then towards the end it was fine.
That being said, the days I do go to the Masters, I will be one of like the last people off property every day.
Well, it's because you don't have your phone. You can't like get out of there.
Sure, but like literally like how the PGA scoring rules work, first in, last out. That would be first in, last out, bring in a foot bather, like let's go. I can't wait. And Pat, I don't know if there are many podcasts. There are a lot of golf podcasts out right now, and that's incredible. And it's awesome what you, I don't want to say you started, but like I think you were on the ground floor of something, if not the ground, like, you know, main floor, entrance floor, maybe not basement floor. But not many of us had a podcast when Rory won his previous major.
You were asking me that yesterday, that were we doing the show when he won at Valhalla, and I don't think that we had the show until the next year.
No, because I don't think we did it. If I met you at Dove Mountain, I don't think we waited till the next year's PGA Championship to do a podcast.
No, we may have done some audio in that room, but I didn't have my video podcast until Christmas of that year. That's when we built that video room. So it would have been the beginning of 2015, which is when Brooks won in Phoenix, I believe, because we did a video for that show. That I remember.
Yeah. Well, then it would have been audio, because I wasn't at Fantasy long enough for us to have met in like early in the year, and then our first show to have been the year after, like a year and a half later. That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree. I remember we did the bracket for Dove Mountain when day one. But yeah, Brooks won Phoenix in 2015. We most definitely did a show for that video-wise, like a full show breakdown. So I think we started at the beginning of 2015. A video. So the other stuff would have been looking ahead at majors. Maybe we talked about it, but I wasn't really doing that much golf podcasting then, honestly. It was all football.
Yeah, it's true. You're just a writer, and right. Well, memory lane, time flies. Rory's got his major. But what is like the next big topic that we're going to try to create here?
I don't know. Can Scheffler, what's going on with Scheffler, who had his C game and still almost won?
So the next story in golf is Scheffler needs to win a non-Masters for us to respect him like he should be respected.
Yep,
I'm not sa-
that's up there.
Yep.
Anything with Ludwig? Ludwig, I forget who may have been Chris Powers who ended up putting it out. A lot of Chris Powers news over the past 10 days. He was on the scene at Augusta. He's getting aggregated, so good for him. Getting his name out there. But I think that's what it's. Ludwig has 3 top 10s in majors in 5 starts, and Neiman has none.
Neiman is none. Hatton showed up. A little life there for Quayle. Yeah. I mean, I think my preseason pick for Quayle was Neiman, so without having a bet on it, I don't know. We'll see. I like a lot of Liv for Quayle though. Ludwig and Liv right now is in my head for who's gonna work for Quayle.
Do you know? I was actually just looking at the odds for Quayle. Bryson is still 18-1 if you want to get in on him.
I think that's a really strong bet because we've already established his game fucks for major championships. Like that's just now in the pudding. It's just in the fucking pudding. And you think about a course like Quayle, you play it in your mind. Yeah, it probably works better for Bryson than the Masters.
I felt really bad. There's a group of guys. There were 7 guys. Well, I felt bad for me because I had a Ben and top 20 bet, and of course he came 21st because that's what happens. But there's a group of guys at T14 that I thought because Homa made that double on 17, and I thought he was going to end up dropping. And then it seemed like Connors was just dropping all the way down the board. That if 2 more guys had fallen out, because the top 12 get back in for the next year. And he had a bunch of guys who were obviously going to be in between Bubba. Bubba had a really nice week. He came 14th, but Bubba, Rahm, and Spieth were all in at 3 under. Obviously, they're going to be there as well. But then you had Hatton, Hoagie, and McCarty who were there. Like, that was Hatton's bid to get back into the Masters next year. So he'll probably end up getting back in because I think that the Ryder Cup guys do get an automatic spot into the Masters. I always forget the Masters has weird.
I don't think that's true. Is that true? Ryder Cup gets you auto in?
I thought it did.
Here's the thing about the Masters, because it was brought up in Woody was the old guy. Fred, Mr. Ridley, chairman. They are not doing what the other majors are doing in terms of creating like a live exemption path, but they have said they have proven through their actions that if someone is worthy, they invite them, like they did with Neiman a year ago. So if I'm Terrell Hatton, I am not concerned. The Masters will not go on next year without Hatton.
Let's say he doesn't. He's not playing like this is the first good tournament he's had in ages. Let's say he just continues to play type golf. Then he's not going to be there.
Okay, you're right. If he has like a funk, like we've seen a lot of really high end PGA players go into and then miss certain things, competitions, maybe. But I would bet on the yes for Hatton coming to this thing. And I don't want to give a plug because I saw it before the week, but I might be pronouncing the name wrong. Joseph Lemega from the Fried Egg. He had an interview with Patrick Reed last week that like just melted me before the Masters, Pat. Reed talks about how much golf Patrick Reed plays. He's like, yes, he is on live, but sort of like Bryson without the content. In his own way, he is like his own entity in some respects. The guy plays more than PGA Tour players, plays around the world. It is just a sheer obsession, love with the sport. He also he can't wait. He wants the rollbacks, not even because it thinks it won't help the other players, but he's make it harder. Make the sweet spots on the club face harder. When you miss, you miss. They should figure this out. It's not complicated. So it's so fucking refreshing, despite the narrative around the guy, to actually hear him talk about the sport because he is the best.
Well, the best is probably pushing it.
No, I don't mean the best golfer. No, buddy, come on. We are Harden Reed fans.
I love Patrick Reed, but he's the best at being a villain. That's what his entire purpose is.
He's not even the villain they want him to be. But if that's the story that has to be, then sure, whatever. Make him the villain.
If we had him back if we saw him more regularly on the PGA Tour, his villain status would creep back up because then he'd be like kicking the ball out with a wedge, fluffing up his lie. A lot of stuff Wyndham Clark does, but no one cares about Wyndham Clark.
Wyndham Clark's doing it on a Thursday.
So was Patrick Reed. That was the whole thing. Remember, we talked about it before the tournament that you can catch him on PGA Tour Live like Daniel Berger trying to like catch him cheating.
Reed's the fucking man. And just what a dream. And like we said on the Cut Sweat show, like obviously Brooks doesn't even acknowledge Smash GC. Like they don't even exist to him when he's right. Just sheer Nike. That's how he wants to roll. That was probably in his contract from Go. The Aces are like the only team that dresses respectably out there.
The Crushers are the only ones that have a really good logo. Bryson's Crushers logo.
Sure, yeah, Bryson's
cool.
good too. Bryson's good. Yeah. I'll give Bryson his flowers. Although the Thursday navy royal blue look, oh my God. Like how Reebok lets that on the course with their name on it. Whatever. But yeah, Bryson's cool. I got
that Bryson is not cool. That's the entire thing about Bryson.
The Crushers logo, like it works. Like that's what I meant. I didn't mean Bryson like the personality. Also, Bryson being weird after the round that Rory didn't speak up to him all day.
What does he want to be fucking filming Breaking 50 out there with him in the final round of the Masters? What the fuck's his problem?
Yeah, exactly. Like no, and Rory's no, he's got to do what he thinks is best for himself, and if like shutting off the world is what he needed to do, I don't know. That was like really, a really weird end of the day nibble from Bryson, but that's why we fucking love him. That's why we love him. All that's being said, Pat, is like we got the full totality of the guy, and I don't even fucking need him till the PGA. Like I don't need him. Like I am full. Like I'm a big guy, and I can eat a lot, and I'm full on Bryson right now. So I don't even know when Liv plays again. I don't even give a fuck.
When does Liv? Probably the end of the month, I'm guessing.
Couple weeks.
And now we have to see everyone. Like we'll be doing the Heritage show later, but like everyone besides Rory, I think is playing.
I hate it. It is.
They've stolen this tournament from me.
I don't like Pat. Sometimes you get dragged like you're like in a wedding party of that's a bad analogy because the Masters is like the best, but it's like I've just been like part of doing this really fancy great thing for a few days, and just let me go to a greasy spoon. I don't want to go to your like fancy hotel brunch the next morning. I want ham off the bone, greasy. Like give me I don't want these guys this week.
No, this is where I want to see Brian Stewart compete. Like, give me a JT Post and Brendan Todd playoff. That's what I want from the Heritage.
Yeah, like, I don't want to bet Grillo in the Corrales. I want to bet him here.
I forgot the Corrales was even going on. I guess we'll get to those odds in the second show as well. But did you notice Bryson had everything bad that happened to Bryson on Sunday. He had it coming with what he did for his intro. And I get what he's doing because I would probably do the same thing. It was like a wrestling introduction where he waited on Rory was already out there. Rory was waiting to tee off. Bryson leaves him hanging, takes his time coming out, slapping his hands, like not even touching hands, just doing the double fist, letting everyone touch him on the way, clearing it out. Like he made his presence felt. Like he was like, it felt like that was his game plan to try to get to Rory. And weirdly enough, I think it backfired on Bryson.
A true showman. That being said, Buddy makes double on one, and you're like, well played, Bryson. Right? Like, it worked. You have to, like, hold the energy and keep your mo, but it's hard to argue whatever he planned didn't work. And also in the playoff, Pat, Rory's on that fucking tee. Rory's there waiting. He's, like, taking those hard whiffs with the driver. Rosie's getting some putts in, giving high five, getting into the cart. So I was nervous. I was like, oh no, Rory's just like waiting. And I probably had radio in my ear also. And they're like, yeah, waiting. Like, you don't want to be. Someone specifically said, like, you don't want to be the first guy to the tee in a playoff. Like, you just don't. Now that's just like doesn't really matter, but there it is. An all-timer, Pat. We did a draft last week. We didn't have any of the last 5 Masters. If we had to do this one, like, I know it's the morning after, you could see yourself voting for it ahead of the Tiger win, right?
I don't know. I think that's a very in-the-moment type thing. I think that we have to put ourselves back in 2019 to seeing Tiger get one last one and just playing amazing and beating everyone. Like, he wasn't winning going. Was he winning going into Sunday, or was Molinari was winning, wasn't he?
Yeah. But the thing is, if Tiger doesn't win that, I don't think anyone thinks differently about Tiger.
No. But it's just he did it. It's no one thinks differently about Jack if he doesn't win his last one either. But he did it.
You're right. Nope, that's a great. You're like, Jack only had 5 and he didn't win in 86. Nothing about his status is different or how we talk about him, but that is like the send off, like the all. Yeah, great call.
But if Rory doesn't get this one, like, he's Greg Norman.
This had Norman vibes, multiple.
Like, this would have been the worst of them all. Like, of all the close calls that he's had, being up by 4 with 5 holes left and then not winning, it would have been, oh man, it was not a great
It would have been, yeah. I mean, like, everyone sort of said it to themselves, if not aloud, all week. Like, the story, it is so crazy that they can actually create a potentially more painful chapter than the earlier chapters, but it felt like we were on the cusp of that. I think that's part of what led to my menopause yesterday.
You just didn't want it for him?
No, I wanted it for him bad.
You didn't want the other, because the story is great of him winning, monkey off the back. He puts himself, he etches his name with all of the great players, like getting that Grand Slam puts you into such a short list that you can never be taken off of it. But if you blow it, that's all you really you remember none of the good things that Rory ever did. You just remember him throwing up all over himself. That becomes, until he somehow changes that, whether he does or whether he doesn't, you don't know. But then that is the focal thing for him for the rest of his career and how you remember him. You don't even remember the 4 majors at that point.
Folklore on Rory, it would have been missed 3-4 footers to win majors. That's what the legacy would have been, despite the other collapses or other great accomplishments. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. And I'm not one of these people, Pat, at least when it comes to Rory. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are others. We take great joy, obviously it was for betting purposes, but in what happened to Jordan Spieth, I would have not, there are people that, like, yes, very thrilled for Rory, probably even cheering for Rory to a certain extent, while simultaneously, like, so badly wanting the catastrophic result, if that makes any sense.
Well, Rory has enough haters that's how it goes along with it. And for anyone who says that Bryson is not growing the game of golf, there was a bunch of new people that I interacted with this weekend who were very clearly just, I don't know, 14-year-olds who watch Bryson on YouTube and just have no concept about how golf works, like real golf. Like, they think everything is YouTube golf. It's really strange that you have all of those people who probably just hate Rory.
I guess, yeah, he's just like the old boomer.
Yeah, he's like 35
with graying 35-year-old boomer, little guy. I'm spent.
I got some Rose thoughts. If Rose doesn't have that U.S. Open, is he the biggest loser of the past 20 years?
I mean, I don't know that's not fair. Like, if Scott doesn't have the Masters, is he the biggest loser? I'd say he might be a bigger loser than Rose. I think Scott is more talented than Rose.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, you have to remember, like, I remember Rose at the Open being an amateur and competing. Like, he's been around for a good 26, 27 years now of being a pretty, I mean, obviously it took him a while to come back after that when he was an amateur there. But I mean, people forget he was the #1 player in the world after he lost to Sergio over that time. And it will work out well for him historically that he has the gold medal, which no one really cared about when he won it. But as you've kind of mentioned, that will step up in legacy when we start to look at it. Although he won the one where no one really went. That doesn't matter. He still has it.
Yeah. Listen, I think that's a fair. I'd be curious. I know you usually throw something out. Like, who would have been the bigger loser without the major, Rose or Scott, in the history of the game?
I feel like Rose has challenged at more major championships.
maybe. I thought Scott. Maybe I would lean Scott, but I think it's like right there. Now we're like being rude. We're taking away the one majors from guys.
But I mean,
that have them.
Rose now has 2 playoff losses at the Masters.
Yeah, fuck, that hurts.
Like,
Who's friends?
Like, in my mind with Scott, he won the Masters and then he gagged the Open to Ernie. Those are the two.
And you're right. And by
those
winning the Masters, we've already established that's worth more. So you're right. It's probably Rose. It's probably Rose. You're right.
Without his
circle, you talked it through, Rose.
Without his U.S. Open win, Rose is Westwood, but with
Now,
more heartbreaking losses.
What about Day?
I mean, I don't think that Day was ever on that level. Day had his run.
Okay, fair.
And he
Maybe
got his major. He got his players. Like, Day's going to be a historically good player, and he still might have another chapter of his career now. But when was the last time he was truly competitive at a major? I know he just had a nice result. He never had a chance to win. There were 3 guys, well, I guess 5 guys, let's say, who had a chance to win the Masters on Sunday. You had Rory and Rose, obviously. Bryson was in the final group and there through 7 holes, whatever. He had a chance to win. Connors technically had a chance to win based on where he was starting, although we knew that was never happening. And then out of all of the guys coming down the stretch, you kind of hit on it. If Ludwig doesn't 3-putt 17, he's kind of in this.
Very much. Ludwig pipes an arrow down 18 and he pulls back. He hits the wedge Rory hit in the first playoff hole. Like, that is, I know that's like creating something, but it's easy to have seen how that could have happened, but it doesn't matter. Again, like, fucking chosen one, that kid. It's coming.
My son had a very interesting comment about Ludwig when he left the ball in the bunker on 18. He says, "It's okay. Hitting the ball again is fun."
Love it. Yeah, more strokes, more fun.
Yeah, you had more shots at the Masters. That seems great.
But it's your turn longer.
Exactly. That's the kid perspective of it.
Yeah, exactly. Although Ludwig making a mess on 18, and there's still the Connors Reed group waiting in the fairway, Rory waiting on the tee. As like someone who truly like adores Ludwig, I was like, "You're killing the man on the tee right now, bro. Just get in the hole." What did he make, a triple? What was it again? A triple?
I think it was a triple or a quad. He killed a lot of top 5s with that.
No, that's too bad. A pretty forgotten, a player that like a lot of us sort of said, you know, well, we'll wait for another major this year. So not wrong to not have bet him to win, but yeah, I don't know. Him at 18-1 for Quail, I'm probably gonna make something like that.
I was like, there was a few people that I was very impressed by this week. I guess you had some sort of thing with Zach Johnson. What is going on with this?
Oh no! Well, listen, it's a good thing. The only person who's a little upset is my wife because I got a busy summer. I got a knife, guy trips, Jean's out of town. Does Paul know? I made a bet with Pizzola and some of the boys over at the Hammer that if Zach Johnson finished top 10, I will head to Illinois this summer to go on a breakfast tour with my man George Riley Panagakos. I don't even know if I did the last. I might have butchered that. At GRP Wins. I want to meet his favorite. I want to eat his favorite dishes, ham off the bone, cinnamon swirl pancakes, meet the waitresses, and of course, NFL futures content. Me and George yucking it up, a diner tour, all his favorite spots. I got to do this. Truth be told, my initial offer was I will Greyhound to Chicago.
Oh God.
That didn't make it to the end. That was reassessed before. I'm too blessed to Greyhound to Chicago. We'll leave it at that. I'm not Jen popping on a bus of that magnitude. I'm no Rico Bosco here. And the payoff isn't like high end enough for me to have put myself through it. But yeah, I think there's a small percentage of the audience that'll understand what I just said in the last 3 minutes. And that percentage of the audience is very excited. I am trying to get Pizzola to come. We'll see.
It's a pretty. I've done the Toronto to Chicago flight. If you leave from the island, you can go Island Airport to Midway, which just makes it super easy and super quick. That's the route. You don't want to go through Pearson and O'Hare if you're going to fly between the cities.
Yeah.
Also,
listen,
the city that's most like Toronto is Chicago.
And listen, this is one of those bets where like you make it because you want to be like forced to do it, but you really want to do it, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been talking to Pizzola about this for over a year, that this would be incredible content. Now, this is me saying the content I've envisioned in my own mind would be great. That's like when I laugh at my own jokes. It's not like a great sign, but obviously I put it out there because in my heart of hearts, I was cheering for ZJ to top 10. And I mean, what a fucking Masters for Zach Johnson. I know. Holy shit.
Well, we think about it that way, but Xander was just quietly, he pulled kind of the lesser version of what Reed did, because Reed just was there and he just have a decent round every day and just kept progressively moving up the leaderboard. Xander was not all the way back being Xander, but he had a very good Masters.
All things considered, a slow start on Thursday, but yeah, all signs point up a guy that is going to survive a lot of cuts as I try to make some heritage bets, because I know it's the week after a major and we'll get to it later today, but it's an elevated event and I bet elevated events a specific way. I don't care where they fall on the calendar.
I will give a special shout out to all of the losers that I bet who all missed the cut. Shout out to you guys. Seb Straka, Bobby Mack, Akshay survived, then tanked on the weekend. Lowry was there, then tanked on the final day. The only guy I got to the weekend who played well at all was Rom, who had maybe the most infuriating Friday I can ever remember someone who's good having.
Rom. I mean, obviously, like, he made it on the number. He obviously, like, he knew very well about a lot of those articles that were being written about him on Friday night. But hey, like we've established, like you're on live, we just have to judge you on majors. You should, and live allows you to play well in majors. We've seen Brooks and Bryson excel in majors. We've seen lower end live guys have nice things in majors. So maybe it's just taking him longer to get used to, but he's held to a different standard. So sorry, pal. Figure it out.
Trying to find
somebody.
somebody.
And he cares what the public thinks as well. He wears it. He's sensitive for a guy who got 400 million. You shouldn't be that sensitive.
He had the best Saturday outfit of anyone. The purple with the lavender. It was a fantastic look.
Loved it. Just because that's a Grayson thing. I think Justin was in some of the purple, but yeah, I'm purple is one of my favorite colors. Huge purple guy. Grayson Fox. I'm not so about the Cam Smith like
blazer. I like it.
Smith. No, I didn't hate. Listen, I like it more than like a Jason Day fat suit, but it's the opposite side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So I'm not really here. I don't really want any part of either of those. Just things in life don't normally, like 99% of life fails to live up to expectations. Yesterday was just such a blessing.
Did we see?
I don't know what else to say.
This guy came in 5th, and I don't know if we saw a single Sungjae shot all week.
They showed him holding out. He holed out for eagles. He holed out from bunkers. The typical way to the Sungjae ATM. And what about our guy Tom Hoagie, who I think we bet at Valero?
Oh yeah.
And maybe we'll have to bet him at the. He might be the. I mean, I don't know, tease it, but he might be the only guy like with a big number that I might bet this week.
I bet. Well, I did the research show on the weekend, and I had like PTSD. I think it was blocked out of my mind that I had Hoagie to win in top 5 Heritage last year, and he made a quintuple bogey on 18 to fall from 5th to 24th or something. Remember Cantlay? We'll talk about it on that show, but Cantlay. He was like right of the green on 18. It was getting kind of dark, and he just picked up the ball. He's like, "Yeah, I'll come back tomorrow." And then guys couldn't play through.
That. Yeah. Listen, and then like you find out later, the guy is what's it called? What he's doing now with the homes?
You think he's Holmes
it's
on
like
Holmes?
a nice. investment. He's like investing in shit. Never mind. Anyway, you wonder like, how is this guy marking his ball on 18? Like he's not winning. What is going on? And then you like get to know Patrick Cantley more, and you're like, makes perfect fucking sense.
Yeah.
Serial fucking white van motherfucker.
I was thinking about betting him.
Allegedly. I like no that he is very much. Yeah. I mentioned the guy who played well last week, but it's Cantley who didn't play well, who I could be a sucker for. So let's swim around it. Let's do that.
And shout out, I mean, it was very nice that he came on the show in advance of his second Masters. Michael Kim broke par 3 times and came 27th. It's a good week.
Nothing invested in it. I was rooting him on the whole way. It was so fun to see him, just maintain this level of play. Shout out to a fan of ours who turned $5 into 17,000.
Yeah.
With his Ludwig to win the Jenny, Florida to win the NCAAs, and Rory to win the Masters 5 into 17. That's one of those tweets that obviously DraftKings themselves is promoting, like on their own feeds, and it's one of those things that like Rovell is in on. So at least
how would you know what Rovell's in on?
Well, you see, Elon has made it, Pat, where you could be blocked, but you see the people still.
Oh, okay.
Even for people who have blocked you. And again, credit to you and everyone who smashed that Justin Rose first round bet, maybe the prop of the week. I saw some people with their Matt McCarty top debutants 20-1.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, Reed Low Live ended up hitting. Who ended up being McCarty and Bubba tied for low lefty too, and they were both pretty down on the board. The biggest bet I made all week was Nick Dunlap to miss the cut, so I'm very happy that happened.
Yeah, obviously I lost a few sleeves on a shirt with Phil missing the top senior. That was a disaster. We lived it in real time Friday, but Connor's pretty much paid for a good chunk of the outright card of that top Canadian. So if that lost, the shirt would have been gone. I'm trying to think what other great props or markets. I don't know. Now we're probably just
I just wanted to go back on that. Do you think that there was you forget about it because Rory sucks up so much of the oxygen? But if we talk a little bit about Rahm, but Morikawa just didn't have it at all, did he?
It got it to 3 under on Thursday and then finished the round at even. And then from that point, just sort of like anytime he made something, he pretty much gave it right back. That's another guy. Seems a little sensitive for the situation. And I want to just come out and say something because I do agree with what Shane Lowry said. I mean, someone asked him a question that pissed him off on Saturday. It was about Rory. He's like, I'm trying to win this freaking golf tournament.
And he
like,
just went
get out of here.
And he just went bogey. Like he was at 7 under and then just gave away 2 shots at the end of the round. He was just pissed.
So I don't think it is like, I don't know how they could, like, what is the right path for the PGA, Pat? But like clearly, like any sport, a player gets to go in the locker room. They get to like debrief before they get to just you cool down for a few minutes before there's microphones in their face. I have no issues with that. Like, of course, the players should be granted time and space to even shower if they want. I don't give a shit. But it's then this like weird thing of like who is then forced to speak. If that like who decides who is forced to speak? If I'm a reporter for a popular outlet and I want to like talk to one guy, like you go into it, like I used to produce Leafs Lunch. So I've been in the locker rooms before, after games, before, after practice. You know how it is. And like, there's always guys you could go up to and speak that aren't getting the attention. I just don't even know how they could coordinate it in a way where it is like an official thing that you have to speak.
I mean, there isn't. That's why guys
no,
just
but
take
it seems like they're headed to something like that, in my opinion.
Well, that'll be tough to enforce when all these guys are independent contractors. Like, what are they obligated to do? Maybe the Masters has it differently, that in accepting your invitation to the Masters, you are obligated and required to do certain things. That could be a part of it, but it'd be hard to do for each and every tournament, I think, because there's different governing boards and things like that.
Absolutely. And listen, I'm not... Morikawa could have ended this multiple times, and he's only made the situation worse. And that is to say, like, even before Morikawa spoke last week, Rory defended him, saying he doesn't owe you. I mean, the truth is, it's in the rule. He owes you nothing. Shane Lowry, in more of an emotional situation for his own reasons, on Saturday, referenced Morikawa and like, listen, we don't like. He was right. Like, he kind of doesn't owe you anything. You're Lowry angry. You're lucky I'm kind of talking to you right now. I'm so mad I could say something to get me in trouble, which I don't want to do. It's not fair that I have to talk to you right now. I don't think he's wrong in that either. But it's also to say the locker room clearly supports Morikawa. They probably wish he could end it because he keeps making it worse, and it's a simple thing to end. But clearly, in what Rory and Shane said, the locker room totally agrees that, Morikawa owes you fucking nothing. Nothing.
No, you have to back him up in that regard, too. Because what if you don't want to do it either? Then you look like the world's biggest hypocrite if you didn't agree with what he did.
Of course. And Rory, from a position of having just done that at the U.S. Open last year, granted, I believe majors are a bit different in the sense than, not winning the 7th biggest event of a season, but hey, that's just my opinion.
Sure, I mean you vividly remember Dustin just not being there at Chambers Bay,
not empty
he was like,
chair.
Peace out. I'm done.
Yeah, no, I do, and he had yet to win a major. I do think, and the Rory and Dustin's were very similar, despite Rory having 4 majors. It just the conversation around Dustin was very similar to the last decade of conversation around Rory. You miss a 3-footer at the end of a major, I will allow you to go home. Maybe I like Rory, maybe I like Dustin. If a player I didn't like did that, I would handle that differently. But truth of the matter is, we play elevated events the week after majors. These guys, when you do get them, they usually are very freaking candid and honest for the most part. So it's not like these guys aren't available. In closing, Morikawa's 2 minutes to our great Powers question made no sense. It made no sense, and it's not over yet for him because of that.
I will correct myself. The Ryder Cup guys do not get into the Masters. It's everyone who qualifies for the Tour Championship the year previously earns an automatic invite into the Masters. So keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out the field and putting in your futures bets for the Masters 364 days out.
And I need to apologize. I think I got to owe Tim credit, or maybe he was just onto something. But I thought Low-Am, even if missing the cut, gets Low-Am.
No.
Was he not he wasn't in Butler Cabin? They don't give a Low-Am for a miscut?
I guess not. I learned that this week too.
Or maybe because Rory was so special, they didn't even want to waste a chair on the TV.
They wouldn't do that. If there was a Low-Am to give the Low-Am medal to, he would have been there.
Yeah. So I apologize to Tim. I don't know that he's going to watch this or even hit like on this video, but he was right. I was wrong.
All right. Well, that will do it. On the Masters recap for the Pat Mayo experience, smash the like, sub to the channel, and tune in a little bit later on today for the full RBC Heritage betting breakdown. One and done. We'll have all of that for you. All right? I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!